So, the last time we recorded was an experience. We didn't even know if it was going to work.
No, I
We were
still am not sure that it did.
we were like, you know what? We'll change everything. And you know how we'll change it right now.
It's so crazy because we hate change, and if we're gonna do it, I feel like it's always in like a very sporadic kind of way, like that wasn't planned because we were like, we should try this for a while. We should try this. We should try this. And then randomly 11 p.m. the night before we're gonna record, I'm like, I'm gonna try this.
Like, I'm
And
going to send Lauren a PowerPoint
I was
presentation.
like, I'm not even trying this. I'm doing this. And I sent you the link and I went to bed and I said, wait. And in the morning, I was like, I have no idea how to use this.
I was bamboozled at 5 a.m. with like multiple like figure 1 through 10 of what we were doing. And I was like, I guess we're doing this. And then my first thing was that I pulled you in close and I said, Steph, we got to pretend to my husband that we're not doing this.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Because he'll be like, do you even know how to do it? And we don't want to have to tell him
I'm
no.
like, Steph, remember our hot producer? You're like, God, Lauren.
Like, you guys definitely have something going on. I know it. You
I'm
live
calling
together.
HR. And I'm like, we can't let him know that we're doing this, like and I'm like, it's gotta be
We're
seamless
being
because
sneaky.
thus far we have held the pod to a standard. And I feel as though our producer has understood our demands on like the level of professional that we want to be.
We haven't really given him a choice, but he's accepted nonetheless.
Yes. So we were like, this still needs to be professional. We need to do our research. We weren't
Yes.
totally willy nilly. We did some background, and then we were like, worst comes to worst, we scrap it.
We throw it away.
It's the
Exactly.
lost episode. And I
Yes.
feel like as we grow on this pod, I definitely have become more comfortable with just scrapping things. I feel like at first
I feel
it
that way
was
with like life,
I was
just
treating
like
it as a
throw it away.
confessional. I was like, whatever I say, it's between me and God, whatever she's whatever she thinks, and
Exactly.
then as we grew, I feel like there's some times that I step away from this and I'm like, yeah, it was definitely like a way to vent, but it's not how I feel anymore, or it's not how I wanted to
Yeah,
be portrayed, like it's not, I didn't
definitely.
make my point. And I do that in person too. Like I'm pretty, I don't know. Do you feel like as you grow, you're better at being like what I said before? I don't know. Like
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I'm good at letting go of it, and sometimes I think about it forever. It just really depends on the day and the mood and the situation and the person. Because, I mean, if I say something stupid to you, in my living room, who cares? You don't even remember in 5 minutes. If
couldn't
I
even
say
hear
it
you
here,
probably.
you didn't weren't even listening. And so if I say it here and I record it and I put it out, obviously there's just a weight to that I think is extra heavy. So I hope when people listen, they take that into consideration that these are just conversations and sometimes, you know, we change our minds or we're in a mood.
And that's the thing. And I feel like for all the people out there, for all the Rudies that have a draft folder full of things they'll never post, like if you don't personally have a pod, understand that sometimes you put a pin in it and then that pin stays in there and then you're like, I don't even think this lands anymore,
And well,
So
and let me say, if I'm being honest, me to my core has much more in common with my drafts folder than the things that I've posted online. Like I myself am a draft,
I hate the
a rough draft.
sabotaging videos that come up on like my like scrolly page, of any given social network, and it's like post
Hmm.
your drafts. I'm like, who is giving this advice? Like, don't
Literally,
post your
fuck
drafts.
you. Who told you to set in that? Who told you?
Like,
Who hates me?
if you
Post
have
my
been
draft,
thinking about it for 38 days, just don't.
and
So
they're posting their draft of them like walking along a beautiful beach in Maui. They're like, post the draft, and you're like, what? Of me like singing 1 week really fast? No.
yeah, you're like, your bathing suit is perfectly up your bronze butt cheek, and like I'm sure that was really hard for you to share.
If I post my draft, it's like we showed everybody and they hated it.
Like, and your hairline's weird, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
but with all that being said, I feel like the visual on the pod was something that, A, nobody planned for. You know, nobody being me and Steph.
Even though it's not like it wasn't happening when we started, we were just like, that's not for us. We're different. You know, we're gonna just pod the old fashioned way.
And we're also like, we're millennials, right? So we love technology and we're thrusted into technology and we adapt with it. Like, we're a generation that, you know, we've made it from AOL dial up to here, you know, to
Yeah,
AI. So
from the
I
ground
feel
up.
I feel like we're really good at utilizing technology, but then we have this whole war with like, we should unplug, you know, like I'm like, I don't know. Every time I look up from my screen, I want to look
And
at my
that's
kids
why
or back
that's
at my
why
screen.
that's why I'm such a ride or die millennial, because I'm like, you guys don't understand what it was like to be like, go play in the yard and like go to your neighbor's house. And then they were like, and here's your Game Boy Advance, you know? And you're like, well, what? Which is it, you know? And
Like,
they're
can I
like,
play on
be
the Game Boy in the
careful.
yard? Does that count?
So I think that we've
But
just grown up this way in the
we
middle.
have, and it makes you struggle with like having social media as a business platform because you're like, unplug, be present, hashtag girl boss, you know,
And you're
like,
also like, what do you want from me? Like, do you want me to be like,
who do you want me to
I don't know
be?
what you want. And it's just, it's so many angles of just getting lost in the sauce so many times. So, like,
So
if
with
this sauce
that,
tastes weird, it's because it is.
well, it's season 3, and I feel as though we've done a subpar job at that. So, you know,
Good
bravo.
enough.
We did hashtag good enough. And I feel like moving forward, we were like, how the hell are we going to take on
Hashtag
another
average.
hashtag slightly
Just above
below
average.
average
Oh,
yellow on the public school graph, I think it is.
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Meets
Exactly.
some of the
Could use
of
some
the
improvement.
yes. So I feel like with that, taking on another platform and another medium of this was so intimidating. So
Yeah.
intimidating. Like,
And also the time of day that we like record, I'm just not feeling my best looking wise. So I'm like, oh,
you're like,
uh,
I thought it was about the voice
I
that
thought you
counted.
just wanted to laugh with me in the car, like,
I
haha.
thought you were Adam Levine backwards in a red chair, you
You want to
know?
see me doing my best Adam Sandler? Like, is that what you want from me?
You're going to press that button and you're going to see me in sweatpants, you
And this
know?
is the
Like,
best it's gonna get. Like, honestly, I had my hair done today by someone, not me. So
you'll
it's
never
like,
know if I'm wearing pants, you know? And that's
and
between
that's
me.
one secret we'll never tell.
Yeah,
That's a
like if
Gossip
you're
Girl reference,
if
Lauren.
you I don't know Gossip
I
Girl.
know.
Don't.
I
If you
know.
ever have to see me standing up on a stage, I don't know. I don't know if we can do all of that.
There's just a curtain midway, you know, and it's like, it's not, we don't even have legs actually.
Like one of
So,
those magician boxes, but
oh my
but there's
God.
no trick.
So, yeah, you have the saw, and I'm just hanging out of the box, but your body's behind the box. So they don't know if you have legs or if I have legs or if we share a pair of legs.
And we
I love
never
that.
really even mentioned that there's a magic trick. The suspense is the magic.
We just do the podcast in that form. Me in the box.
That's our
And
platform.
you with the saw. That's what I thought I was signing up for when we started a podcast.
But here we are on the YouTubes.
God. God.
I'm manifesting that. I'm saying this one makes it because we've scrapped episodes in the past. I've lost episodes. You know, I want to be really accountable for that forever.
Yeah, that one we don't have to revisit, but she simply threw out the most dramatic 60-minute conversation of my life and said,
You're welcome.
oh. But,
Oh my-
you know, everything happens for a reason.
Hashtag.
Hashtag.
But now we're here and we're putting out a visual, and we are hoping that this just gets us to more like-minded Rudies, you know,
Exactly.
more
Oh,
of
you can see
us.
my sage burning
Oh my
right
God.
now.
She has an
And
ambiance.
that's like it, because you like, you know, we say the things, but I'm like, we are actively burning sage right now in the basement, and we're getting ready to just say whatever pops into the head. I honestly don't have much of a plan today, but I did have something very big happen to me.
What
And
happened to you?
Britney Spears wrote a song about this once. She said, "I'm not a girl, not yet a woman." And the day I became a woman was today, because today I walked to my front steps and there was a massive fucking box. And I'm like, my daughter's birthday's in a couple days. So everything that's been coming in, I've been just like scurrying it to the basement, out of the way so I can deal with it down
You just
there.
do like a buy, like every other day, like look around. You're like, okay, everything
I
seems
don't
to be
want my
here.
neighbors to see what I'm doing. Like, it's really
You're
embarrassing
like,
at
I
this
haven't
point.
even opened any of it, but it's
But
here.
this big box shows up on the front porch, and I'm like, did I get her another bunny? Like, what is this? I open it. You know what was in there, Lauren?
I know what was in there. I
Tell
know.
everybody what was in there.
I don't want to.
It was my bog
Stephanie.
bag.
Stephanie got a bog bag without me.
This is
She's
so
the better
funny.
half. She's the
I'm
better half. Her
I'm
and
the
Ryan
I'm the
Seacrest.
50% because it all started when Nora had Tech Week, and Nora said to me something that really hurt my feelings. She said, "Why does every other mom have that bag?" And I look around, and before I knew it, every other mom around me was unloading their theater gear, because we do a lot of extracurriculars. They're unloading these things, everything in there. And I'm like, I swear, just yesterday, I was making fun of my older sister, Cherry, I like to call her, for carrying around her crock of a bag. I was
It's a
like, what?
giant crock.
It's a
That's
giant
what it
crock. So I'm
is.
like, you're so silly, you old lady. I'm like, not for me. Me and my newborn baby that needs nothing but me. Now pan to me with these two crazy kids that do things every single day of the week. And I'm just like, I need a bog bag. All of a sudden, Nora's come for me. She's like, everybody has one except you. And I fall for trends. Like, of course, there's a part of me that's like, that's not for me. But there's some part of me that is like, no, that's for me.
Well, that's the thing. With trends, like
I'm
you're
just a
seeing it,
girl.
I'm just a girl. And like in the same way that I am a sucker for an advertisement, I'm a sucker for a representation of something working out in the wild? So you're seeing it in those types of places.
Everywhere.
I'm seeing it in the healthcare world. Okay? Because
Because
if there's
you can sanitize it.
if there's one thing us nurses know, it's accessories, okay?
You guys do love an accessory.
We love an accessory.
What's your favorite nurse accessory?
My favorite nurse accessory is probably a badge reel.
I knew
Because
it. I knew it.
because a badge reel you can low key tell everyone how you're feeling and like there's a goose on it,
Exactly.
so like HR can't do ish,
I want to
like
guess how many you own, like a ballpark. If I had to guess how long have you been a nurse or have worn a badge?
you're gonna make me sound old on the pod. I've
Mhm.
been a nurse for 9.5 years. So I've been wearing a badge reel for like 10 years.
I mean, actively in your home that you've kept, I would imagine you have at least 30 to 50.
I would say I probably have around 25 to 30. And I would say that like 18 to 20 of them are Christmas.
I love
Because
that.
for some reason, like, there's nothing more of a bummer than being at the hospital during Christmas. So if you're in the healthcare field, you know that we just like become like these like mall Santas of the
Little
hospital. We're
helpers.
like, we're like, here I am, chest compressions in an elf hat.
You're like, is there a Christmas song that goes to the beat, like rocking around the Christmas, and your jingle bells are hanging, and you're like, I got you.
But that's the thing. Whenever something serious is happening and like
It's so
someone's
silly,
wearing
and you have
reindeer
jingle bells
ear,
hanging from you, and your badge is like I'm a silly goose,
you're
and
you're like you're like, should I
saving
grab the
grandma's
code?
life.
Yeah, you're like, should I grab the code car? And it says like registered silly goose on your chest. So that's why it's my favorite accessory.
So
But
you're a nurse, but you're just a girl.
I'm also just a girl. And I feel like with motherhood and nursehood, there's something that happens with trends. And I mean motherhood like in your 30s, like or
Hmm.
just in your 30s in general, I think, is that you make things seem cuter if they're functional.
Yeah. I mean, it's an
When
open stand-up bag.
when I was young, I did not care about the functionality. I carried that stupid ass Hollister canvas bag
We
with
all
all
had
of my
them.
books in it like this.
And that's why we all have scoliosis now.
That's why we're all
Because of
crooked,
they we should honestly get together as a group and like sue Hollister for compensation. Like, you know how they're always trying
My
to come after autism with
chiropractic.
Tylenol?
Yeah.
We should come with that same energy. We take that Tylenol energy, we put it into something legitimate, like those bags
Like,
breaking all of our, because why do I walk like this now? Because of
yeah.
you.
Yeah. Why are we getting rotator cuff surgery at
You remember
40?
when they were sending people around the local beach and they were like, "Do you want to work for a Hollister?"
I was fat. Nobody asked me if I wanted to work at Hollister. Is that?
But do you remember how they would literally just
I
walk
remember
around
how
the
they'd approach
beach?
my friends and they would. And I also remember that they would have like they'd have like smelly cards. Like everything from Hollister had to smell like offensively like Hollister.
And like your mom would always remind you of it when you dragged her in there to buy you that very expensive sweatshirt of either like purple or teal or red. And they would be like, "It stinks in there."
Stinks and it's dark. And
And
I
it
don't even know
was.
how much that canvas bag was, but I want to be compensated for the bag, all of my chiropractic copays,
So I've grown from that Hollister bag to my current bog bag, but I
which
did not
is
get here
glamorous.
smoothly. I did not get here
Glamorous.
smoothly because the other day I was thinking about it. Like, I was just thinking about it because I had seen a lot of them, and Luke was like, "Oh, now that you mention it, I see a lot of them." I'm like, "Oh, perfect. Now my husband sees them. Now I have to get one." So
Like he knows.
I'm on my phone, half asleep on the couch as one does, and I'm like, bogbag.com. I just type it in, and it's like $35. And if you've looked up a bog bag, you know that they're 3 times that.
Yes.
So I'm like, I'm getting a bog bag. I'm like, it's 30% of the price. Like, I have to get one. So I'm like, add to cart, add to cart, buy, buy, buy. It's not going through. And
No, it's not.
I'm like, something's wrong with my card. So then I'm like, let me get my other card.
Get your other
I get
card.
my other. This is a confessional, truly. Like, burn the sage.
I actually love this story.
So I take out my other card, okay? And I go, get the bog bag. It's $35. It's still not working. I'm like, it's probably just this stupid browser on my phone. I'll do it on the computer tomorrow.
Coincidentally.
I go to bed, right? A couple days later, don't ask me why it took me a couple days to notice. I work from home. My husband said something about his card not working. And I was like, that's so weird. My Apple Pay was just giving me a problem. I still am not making any connections here.
Nothing.
It's not until Lauren, we get new debit cards. Everything's fine.
Yeah, and I'm like, fraud sucks. I
I'm
dealt
like,
with that not
I'm like,
too long
literally
ago.
a few days
And
later, I'm like, oh, our cards were hacked. That's why I couldn't get that bog bag, because our cards were hacked.
yeah,
So then
you're like, be
Lauren,
ashamed if something happened to my credit score. I don't know, whatever. Move on.
it's none of my business. So I go, Lauren,
So
text
now
me.
I'm having this. I'm probably getting off of an over entitled on call, and I'm like, I deserve to buy a thing. That's
Lauren,
that's where I go.
I get a voice message from Lauren, and she's like, tell me not to buy a bog bag, which means she wants me to tell her to buy one. That's what that means.
And I'm like, I don't know if I deserve it. And you're like, you deserve it. And then I'm like,
you deserve 10 bog bags.
and I'm like, I'm getting a bog bag. So
you deserve the bog bag with the holder, the whole bundle, I say.
So I go on the website, and I type it in, and I'm like, well, Steph, we can't get the same color. Like, that'd be tacky. The bag's already, I can't even decide if this bag's tacky, honestly. Like,
It's the crock of bags. You don't
I
want
love
it until
it.
you need it.
Exactly.
That's what Crocs are. It's the same
Exactly.
thing. You don't want it until you need it. So we've decided
So
we
we're
need
going
it.
back and forth on the colors, and then you tell me, you're like, oh my goodness, they're so expensive now. And I'm like, what do you mean, Steph? And you're like, they were $35
I go, there was a
yesterday.
really good deal. Let me just check
And I'm like,
see if it's
Steph,
still there.
they didn't even mark it down to that on Nurses Week, you know?
Even the one that looks like a baseball that literally has the stitching across it and it's white, which like if you have $100 to spend on a baseball themed bag, good for you. And so I'm like, no, I saw a really good deal. I'm like, let me just go check really quick. Maybe we can have bog bags. And I look at the website, I go, Lauren, they're there. They're still there. And then I go, oh my God. And everything, the red tape comes together. I realize it was me the whole time. It's that Spider-Man meme when you're like, you know,
Pointing.
and they're all like pointing at me. I was the problem because guess what website I was at? BOGG, which is how you spell bog. BAAG, go to hell, bog. Bag.com
Bag.
because
Something bag.
something bag happened to me because I wanted a bog bag and
Oh, you got
after all
burned.
that I said I deserve one. And my husband looked at me and said, "Okay, you probably do." And now I have one.
And then Steph was like, "I've ordered one. I've settled on this color. You can pick from the scraps." She said.
Whatever's left is yours, I say.
Peasant.
I had to get mushroom shimmer.
No, I
had
enjoy
no
it for
choice.
you. Okay. Okay.
I've been through a
I
lot.
had no choice. I was scammed.
I'm a boy and girl mom who likes a little shimmer. Mushroom shimmer was made for me.
But she got the bag, and I was happy for you. But I still haven't bought the bag. I've talked myself into it and out of it multiple times, and
Well, it's also the color too.
So there's a Target one. So this is
I
when these trends start to lose me because I'm like, okay, like how long are we going to trickle it down until there's like a Five Below one, that's bog brand?
There is. Like, there's a version of each, obviously, but I decided that I deserved the BOGG. And my older sister was the elder sister. She was like, I've had this bog bag since before you were born.
Oh, yeah. Anybody that you talk to, they're like, I store everything in it. My baby's in it right now.
Literally,
in the break room.
Like, and one of my cats, too.
Yeah, they're like, I have a whole pallet of wood in there. You're like, okay.
Like, you need to hide a body? Put it in my bog.
Throw it in the bog.
That's why they named it that.
I did bring my family to Target, and we were like, because Target does this thing where they're like, oh, we have everything that your advertisements are offering you in like a limited, like they have like their Target limited edition.
Well,
so
it's one of the only stores that people like physically still feel the need to go into.
Yeah, so every brand's trying to get in there. We're trying to get in there, They
have special Target colors and they're $80.
Yes. So they're $80, which is like an odd amount because that's in between the other two amounts. It's the mid package. You're not the common people, but you're not the premium.
That's the thing.
So I was there and I put it on my arm and I'm like, what does everybody think? And they were like, oh, it's so cute. Like, and then my daughter finds the keychain. So there's a keychain for $10 and she holds it up and she goes, why don't you start here? Work your way up.
Like a bog bag keychain. Stop it. Did you get it?
There's also a Croc keychain. No, I did not get it.
Oh, babe.
If I got it, I would have been giving into that like multi-step program that she wanted to start on the spot.
And I want startup.
I feel entitled to the big bog bag. So
bog bags is a trend I'm falling for right now.
I love that. I love that. I am falling for, I don't know. I'm falling for like the trend of not buying a bunch of shit seasonally. But with that being said, I really haven't created a timeless collection of things.
When everybody says like you just need basics, interchangeable.
Back to basics. That's the trend that I'm falling for. So that's a whole trend.
Begin?
Well, that's the thing, right? Because you don't just acquire the basics.
I was gonna say like a white T-shirt isn't a basic for like I'm not gonna often just wear a white T-shirt because I'm gonna stain it. So what's basic for me may very well be a very obnoxiously patterned sweater that feels right on my arms that I'll throw over way too many things, you
And
know?
it comes down to that. It comes down to everything. It comes down to the picnic baskets, the t-shirts, the flowy skirts. Like I have a lot of fast fashion. I have a lot of dollar spot items, but like I just want like a picnic basket that I can bring to the park,
Especially an
and have it for
accessory.
years. I want to have a flowy skirt that can go through the wash more than thrice.
Yes.
You
And
know.
I think that's like where you find balance because I like to be both of those things. Like, I love to thrift one of those items you can brag about, and you're like, oh, I got this in the back of a garbage can and it fits me perfectly, you
You're like, I
know?
literally opened my closet and this was just in there. This just
You're like, there
appeared.
was a dead person on the way in. I pulled it off of them, put it on, fit like a glove.
This is not a fire hydrant. I just
This
pulled it
is
off, put it on. Like I love that. I love stumbling upon
I love
something.
something with a story.
So
And
obviously
you
with the
know,
nice weather happening, I'm yard selling. I'm freeing on the marketplace, I'm
that's
thrifting.
spring to me. Spring and summer though. That's like when you're in the winter, you're like on Sheen, you're like, what can get to me in here and keep me warm for 3 months? But like now you're like, let me go find someone's old grandma's sweater, you know?
Yes, and I'm trying to be mindful about as I acquire these things that I feel are staples, are timeless, are, that pan that I'll use time and time again that
Yes.
doesn't have a weird layer of like cancer on it for my family, like
Absolutely.
one that was built before they just started like making them hot pink. Like
Well,
I feel like that is the trend that I'm trying to lean towards. So I'm trying to get rid of my like last season and season before because I tend to hold on to things with the
yeah,
idea that yeah, I paid $5 for it, but
a
maybe it'll
sentimental
serve.
man.
It's either sentimental or I'm such a crafter and I'm like, I can repurpose
I'll
this
fix
into
this.
something. I'll fix it. I'll
I'll fix
upcycle
this.
it. So with that, I'm trying to let those things go. And I mean, I know that we
Well,
talked about this with spring cleaning, but I just feel
yeah.
like I've been doing a lot more of it with whatever season we're
Well,
calling
there
this.
is something I saw going around, and it was essentially like make yourself like a thrifting wish list, or like a, yard sale, whatever, however you're acquiring things. Make an actual list of things that you're really looking for. You're like, oh, I'm really looking for one of those, something I can, put behind my sink and hang my mugs on, and it's cute, but it's functional. And you write it down. So then it's like, obviously, sometimes the store is going to tell you what you need, but then at least you also have this like back of your mind, like if I see, that perfect thing, that's what I came here for. And then you get like, it just adds a different, I don't know. I feel like it just makes it's kind of like you're manifesting it, you're like, this is the thing I'm gonna find,
It is treasure hunting
it's
for
treasure hunting.
adults. And I have to say
I
that the
love
thing
it.
that I've been treasure hunting the most is oversized t-shirts
Of course. Of
because
course.
I have found that I'm not good at doing the laundry. I'm here to say that, and
Lauren and
I'm
I send an average of 3 to 10 voice messages a day being like, I'm gonna do laundry today. You better believe it.
like there's a pile of laundry looking at me. It's as tall as me, but like I'm gonna do it today,
Like, I swear to dog. I swear to dog. I'm doing
and
that laundry.
and here we are not doing the laundry, but I also am like when I am doing the laundry, I'm doing like these power loads. I'm always like my machine's acting up, but like I'm pushing my machine to its limits.
My
you
well
know,
functioning machine is acting up again.
I'm big enough to say that like I'm part of the appliance problem there.
Oh,
So
yeah.
So I'm doing like these huge loads of laundry. I am shrinking and discoloring, and like nothing's coming out the way it went in. It's a Willy Wonka situation. You're getting what you get back, you know?
It's not lights and darks, it's grossness for me. So, like, if Lukey poops on something, if
Yes.
there's poop on something,
Yes.
it goes with poop laundry. You don't
Bodily
mix poop with
fluids,
non poop.
bodily fluids go alone. Biohazard.
Food, spaghetti sauce. I like to keep those together. Douse them
Yes.
in the spray and put them together.
Yes. Things that are a little crunchy, like you
Those
let
go
it dry
together.
out. Those go together.
Bunny blankets, those go alone. Those go together.
Yes, yes. So
That's how I separate
t-shirts,
laundry.
fuck t-shirts.
Fuck
I
t-shirts.
throw them all in there. They
Oh
all
my
come
God.
out different sizes. I say disperse them up upon, the size of the family. We do it Goldilocks style. I'm like, whatever fits right is yours now,
Do you I try to do a sorting thing when I take them out. I'll have like 4 different baskets lined up and I'm like trying to go as fast as I can. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
Lucas, Nora, Lukey, me, Lucas, Nora, Lukey, me. And I try to put them in an order that makes sense. And I'll be like, grab all of Nora things, put them in her basket. And it becomes this
Minute to win
game,
it.
minute
Yeah.
to win it.
And then you're holding it up and you're like, oh, this used to be Lennon's, but I don't know. I shrunk it a
But I
lot.
have a Lucas sock
Maybe
in
it's
one
Lasky's
hand.
now.
You ever get frozen though? Like you glitch. I'm like, I have a Luke sock here and a Nora sock here, and my hands can't find the right basket. I'm just like, she can't compute.
Socks are a trend that I want to do away with forever. I mean, I know that
hate
they're
socks,
vital
but I
and
can't live without them.
no, but like pairing socks to me, like if you wanted the ultimate torture, put me in fluorescent lighting and make me pair socks.
And my husband, like he's always he'll always push like just get the kids a pack of the same socks. Like that's going to make our life so much easier. But I'll be that annoying person that is just like, nope. And it's like teal, light teal, dark pink, purple, and they're all gray but with different colored toes. And then you come out and there's like a coral and a teal, and you're like, where is the other coral? That's my life.
My game is if they're like of the same brand ish and height, I'm like, these are a pair now. The
Pink
kids
and
love
purple.
the mix and matching.
I go, Nora, they don't even see your toes. Who cares? Who cares?
They love it. It's their trend. But
Exactly.
with oversized t-shirts, I've had to part ways with a lot of my favorites because
Yes.
I ruined them. It was my fault.
Rip to my Elton John t-shirt.
Yep. And like a few band ones are rather ill shaped at this point. They're just like it's to the point where I'm like, I need to refresh them.
Yes.
And the other day I found a gold mine of oversized graphic tees.
Wow.
And it is at no other than the JCPenney. Arizona. Remember Arizona?
Arizona.
Remember the Arizona brand?
How is she?
Not the T.
Oh,
the JCPenney brand.
I had Arizona jeans for sure with like mud.
Yeah.
Do you remember mud?
I remember mud with 2 Ds.
With 2
Didn't have 2 Ds.
It definitely. It feels. If it
I remember
didn't,
a juniors department.
mud had Z energy, like it could have a Z at the end of it,
Yeah, and like a really strong period for no reason. Mud period.
Oh,
but
yeah.
so I found an Alaska shirt there, and it's got a family of polar bears on it, and like
Oh my
that's the
God.
one life hack of naming your kids after like states and like celebrity names is that you're never gonna find a keychain of my kid's name.
No.
Never. But you'll literally find like 1,000-piece
graphic
puzzle
tee.
of her name.
Like they made this for you.
You'll literally just find a Lennon puzzle, or you'll find, and you're like, this is yours. I'm sorry that you can't get the little
Life hack.
license plate.
I don't get my name
But-
anywhere.
But yeah, so I can't wait for you to see my oversized t-shirt, and obviously we'll be wearing it with
Wow.
the none other than the
And honestly,
what
that's
pairs with
another-
what pairs with an
biker
oversized tee?
a
The biker short.
That's a trend that I'm always going to be here for, because it's like I feel like there's a balance with me. If the top is loose, the bottom can be tight. If the bottom's tight, the top can be loose. Both can never be tight. Both can be loose.
Yes. Adam Sandler proved
Adam
that to
Sandler,
us.
exactly.
Or no Benny Boone.
No. Benny Boone is that part of the square where it's tight, and we're like, no.
Yeah,
No.
on the tightness scale, it's like Benny Boone's over here, Adam Sandler's over here.
And I'm like right in the middle, a little
I'm my
towards Adam.
I'm my microphone. I'm over.
Yeah.
I'm touching Adam's cheek.
Exactly. But I'll throw on like a tight tank top every once in a while.
Every
with
once
some
in a
wide
while.
shorts,
To prove I'm young.
Exactly.
I still got it.
I still got it. Do you have anything else to talk about tonight?
I do have one other thing to talk about because it is Pride Month.
It
Okay.
is Pride Month.
Happy
Yes, it is.
Pride. to all that celebrate, that was a trick. We all celebrate.
You all passed. You're
You
welcome.
all passed. You can move forward. You can move forward in this
Yes.
episode. But happy Pride Month. I mean,
Hell
I
yeah.
feel like this year's this year's Pride theme is we're gonna fucking celebrate it. Okay.
Absolutely.
Like, and I feel as though I love seeing that projected like out there into the world, that
Me too.
although there's been so many public strippings of like
Basic human
diversity and inclusion and just basic human
equity.
decency, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
I feel like this is the times that we see humanity and an
Yeah, at its
enemy. We
best.
see humanity at its best.
I
Because
agree.
although we are not seeing an establishment, a structure, shall I say, that
Yeah.
supports it, we're seeing the little ants that
Team up
carry the whole
together.
structure come together and say no. It might not be like, like law that we have to, but like this is still important to us.
Imagine being mad at somebody for saying love is love. Like, imagine how embarrassing for you.
Imagine taking all the colors, putting them in a rainbow, and saying,
Saying,
"Don't you dare put that
don't
up
you
anywhere.
dare hang that near my house.
Take down that that canvas rainbow now." Like
Exactly.
I can't ever imagine inflicting myself on somebody's expression so much that it is my expression. Like that's the whole thing. That like your whole stance is them not having a stance. Weird. You know?
It's like, why are you so obsessed with me? Like,
Like
it's giving obsessed. Are you gay? Because why are you so obsessed with me?
yeah, exactly. It's giving
It's
homoerotic.
giving.
And I feel like with that being said, I just want to shine a light that like we are a safe place here. We
Hell
see you
yeah.
here. Like
Absolutely.
if you're not in a safe place, we'll be your moms. We're always down to be your moms,
Yes.
and we're down to bring the discussion to the table because it is uncomfortable. I feel like I've gotten emails, ads, and like interactions that are all like, this is important. This is what
Hmm.
we're doing. But in the same token, I'm like, isn't it important to talk about the fact that they don't want us to do it? Like,
Yeah.
so I feel like this year for Pride, it's important to not only celebrate, but explain to others that you're celebrating because it's important, I guess. I don't know.
Exactly.
That sounds
No.
rambly, but like, I
No,
feel
I get what
like,
you're saying.
yeah.
And I think it's worth saying. I mean, I think that we're very fortunate to live in a place where I think we're a pretty open-hearted state for the most part. Of course, we're not without our bad eggs, but for the most part, I feel like we're a state that stands behind love is love, and for that I feel very grateful, and I that's why I love living here. It's part of my New England, girl attitude, northern attitude, but I also recognize that there are places that people definitely don't feel that way, that they can probably express themselves safely without being bullied or getting hate or feeling unaccepted from their family. Like there are so many experiences out there. And I think, you know, with that, we also live in a time where things are becoming more accepting, but it's because we're speaking about it. It's because
Yes.
we're having these conversations. So it's
Yes.
important for us to do.
And being yourself shouldn't have to be this like big act of bravery. You should just be able to be yourself and it be safe.
Absolutely.
Like
And then I think we should start making straight people come out too. Like, I think when you're old enough to date, you have to say, Mom, Dad, sit down. I sit my parents down. I go, I don't know how to say this to you, but I think I'm going to date a boy. Let it be as big of a conversation because you don't have to come out like you have this big thing that you need to profess. It's okay to love whoever you love and to be whoever you are. And I think that that's a lot of the basis of what we want this this little pod to feel like.
It's very corny, but as a mother, I feel like it would be my ultimate, accolade that if my children felt as though they never had to come out to me, that they brought over somebody of the same gender or non-binary or whoever they fell in love with, and they just brought them over the same way they would in a, separate gender couple. What do you call it?
Cisgender, whatever.
A cisgender couple.
Yes.
So I just feel like for people to be so hateful, it's very sad, but I'm putting out the light into the world through myself and my little people, and I always want, anybody that's in the LGBT plus community to feel seen by me and my family, and I feel like that's only going to be a positive for your community.
Absolutely.
But I also have some shit to talk to.
Thank God.
I was being so sentimental.
Yeah, thank God, you sentimental man.
I feel as though we can't discuss Pride this month without discussing one person in particular.
Well, you said one person, so I thought I had an idea, but now I don't.
It's not Donald Trump. He doesn't deserve to be spoken of.
That was my second guess.
He's so gay. He's so gay. He's literally
so gay.
There's literally this TikTok of this boy that just does erotic voiceovers of him, and he's just like, he's so strong. I can't do a good Trump impression because I refuse to give him the time of day, but he's like, he's so strong. He's so fit. He's so handsome and masculine. And it's like, you
are fucking obsessed. And you hate women.
And I just don't think you like rainbows. I don't know what your deal is.
Exactly. We don't know.
It's not about him, though.
Okay.
Swish him to the side. JoJo Siwa.
JoJo Siwa.
This is your mom's. So, JoJo Siwa.
I know a little bit about this. A little bit.
I only know enough to judge. you know, in the way that Aunt Bev would want me to.
I can only speculate.
I don't remember, Your Honor, but I am here to say,
dude.
I want to start with the fact that JoJo Siwa to me reminds me of if Miley Cyrus and Honey Boo Boo had a baby. Their love child would be JoJo Siwa.
That was eloquent, and that was mathematical, and you're
right?
100% right.
Yeah, there's nothing more that aligns for me,
Absolutely. And did you ever watch Dance Moms? Did you ever partake in the Dance Moms culture?
I was at people's houses when they were watching it, I think.
You were always just at people. Anytime I ask you about a show, you were like, so one time it was playing behind me on an airport, and I heard a part of it, and I loved it. That's not the same thing.
That's literally how I gather my pop culture and research.
That's not the same at all. My mom and sister, my little sister, I'm pretty sure I'll blow up their spot. I think they still watch Dance Moms, but
is it still happening?
Well, no, I think they watch it as a comfort show.
Oh.
But we can unpack that later. So I've seen episodes, when I lived with them. And so I definitely have a picture in my mind of that girl with the bow that was super loud and funny, but had this crazy raspy voice, and then became gay queen,
Yes. Well, became Bo pop sensation.
Yeah. Bo
Don't
queen.
skip that. That's actually why I got my Bo tattoo.
I knew it.
When I was 18. I knew it.
She's actually a huge JoJo Siwa
I knew
fan.
JoJo was coming.
The rumors are true.
So then her Bo was her whole brand. So I knew that. I knew that the Bo crossover came from Dance Moms. Her mom made that. And I'm assuming she has a momager. Nobody just comes up like this by themselves,
She's her, but in her 40s or 50s,
So she kind of made this platform for a preteen audience for a while, and then she was like, I am a gay icon, and I also dress like a member of Kiss,
and she was dressing like she was doing her body rolls, and like you said, dressing like she was in a rock and roll band.
Yeah, platforms and plunging like
funny.
leotards,
Like,
and it was funny and it was fun and it was light and it was just like, I mean,
super
I feel
gay.
like it was super gay and she was being the voice for some audience, you know, like, and
Yeah.
I feel like she was empowering young people in her own quirky ass way.
Yes.
Well, then she kind of started to do that teenage thing that everybody does when we're all watching them, and she got a little wonky, you know, like
Yeah.
she started serial dating women and like falling in
Yes.
love with them very quickly and like, you
Yes.
know, being very public about it. And you're like, oh, you
You're
know,
like, it's okay, JoJo.
she wasn't
Okay.
like pulling a full Justin Bieber, but you were like,
No, but you're just keeping an eye on her at that point.
and you're like, we've seen this song before, you know, we don't want
Yeah.
you going down a bad path. So you sat her down and you said, reel
What
it
a
in.
curveball. What a curveball.
And then they put her on Big Brother, which
Then they
felt
put her
like
on
an
Big
odd
Brother,
move.
which
And
I've
of
never
course,
watched.
never watched it. Never watched it, not once.
No.
And I can't even tell you what it's about, you
No.
know?
No.
So they put her on Big Brother and they put her with, I feel like Big Brother is one of those like D-list celebrity lineups that I don't
Exactly.
even know where these people
Well,
came
it
from.
lined up with what's it called? Traders.
Traders. So this Chris Hughes fella, that's his name, right?
Yeah, and what's he
Christopher
from again?
Hughes. No idea.
I'll find
I've
that
done
out while
very
you tell the
minimal
lore.
research.
I'll look him up.
So Christopher Hughes was also on the show, and apparently the first thing that gives me the ick about all of this is that there was another member on Big Brother. I can't remember who it was, but they were like, I'm going to make JoJo not gay. And I'm like,
This is not conversion therapy. Like, go
this
the
is
fuck
not
home.
2003.
We're
Stop
bringing back
it.
lobotomies before we bring back conversion therapy.
Yeah, like
don't you dare get ahead of us.
that's one archaic practice that we're not bringing back.
Yeah,
So
we have our boundaries.
So it kind of gave me the ick. But coincidentally, our hardcore lesbian BB was like, you know what? I'm going to get real snuggly with this here boy. Did we figure out what he did?
I did. And he was on Love Island.
What does it mean? You know,
He has an accent. It means he has an accent.
Famous
and wears a bathing suit.
He's sort of famous for being on some other sort of janky reality show. So here we are, and now they're kind of like doing like this harmless thing at first, like it's competitive, and then they're being kind of
just friends.
Just friends. But then they're kind of snuggling, you know, in a way that brings you back to Jersey Shore, you know, and they
like the smush room.
Cuddle. You just want to cuddle.
Is that what it was called? The
smush room. Yes. So the meantime, JoJo has a girlfriend back at home.
Girl waiting at home for her.
Whom she loves, whom she has a strong TikTok following with, whom she's putting her relationship out there with. So she's kind of like doing this really sloppy gay Hannah Montana thing, you know, where she's trying to get the best of both worlds.
She's like, when I wear my wig, I do this. And when I wear my bow, I do this.
But you're like, you're on national television.
You're like, your girlfriend's watching you on TV. I don't get
and your
it,
boyfriend's
JoJo.
probably watching your TikToks, you know, like pull it together, you know, got one story.
I don't like it.
And I believe, I mean, the story kind of loses me for a little bit because I was like, I don't even care about this. And then I disassociated for a while. But long story short, basically, she comes home, she breaks up with the girlfriend. She's not dating this boy. And then all of a sudden, she's dating this boy and they're going to live events with her mom. So, and you're like,
manager through and through. She's
and,
like,
and you know that JoJo's like everywhere, like doing, like, she's like, how do the millennials,
actually, my dad did it on accident today. I can't do it yet. I still am Taylor Swift. I'm still in my Taylor Swift era. This will get them going. You know, I don't know how they do something weird with their fingers. No, it's like,
I don't want to accidentally throw up a gang sign.
I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to do anything right now.
I'm not trying to pick a bandana right now. So it's not on trend.
Not.
So now you fast forward one more time, okay? And the most cringiest thing happens. Is that it?
I don't know.
Just do it. Don't.
I'm gonna stop trying. It was taking way too much effort.
I already stopped trying. Oh, well.
Sorry, I'm no Mama Ray's no quitter.
She ain't gonna just give up.
She ain't just gonna give up that easy.
So
because I have long fingers.
So fast forward past the Earharts to JoJo Siwa's mom. Speed on over to Christopher's post. I don't even know where he posted it. I'm not fully invested. I'm only enough invested into this that it bothers me. So
honestly, same.
That I just didn't want it to be the start of Pride Month for me. Yes. So he posts them in bed snuggling in a way that's because he's older than her.
He is. There's an age gap, too.
There's an age gap. And there's this way that she almost looks like his newborn baby. Like she's down at his breast.
She does have quite an angelic and very young looking face. She's just a little baby.
She is a little baby. And she's
her
snuggled.
Mom's just in the bed too on the other side.
With an NDA.
With an NDA in one hand on this photo, or you don't
brick
post
of gold
it.
in the other. She's like, don't make me use this brick of gold. Put your bows on, So she's being snuggled in this kind of blurry image. It looks like the first image that your mom sends out post birth of you, and you're like, Mom, my nipple's in that.
Which honestly, put a finger down if you accidentally have sent your family a picture with a little bit of your nipple in it after birth.
We've all been there. The whole group chat has seen an areola because your mom
and
can't.
As they should. Do you love me or not?
And my mom's such she'll take the picture in the text. She's a point and shoot kind of gal, So if my brown postpartum nipples in it, so be it.
Cross your news feed, then sorry, you're welcome.
So here JoJo is. I love that connection there. So here JoJo is snuggling with him, and I don't even. The caption was something icky. It was sleepyhead or something, and I hated the whole thing. I hated the entire thing. And this is the thing: is that I feel like there was a bunch of comments that were the gross part is that he's probably a type of person that's oh, I made her not gay, and and I felt like there was so much negativity around this, and a part of me feels sad because I'm love is love, right? We can keep that going,
we can't say that you can go one way and then not go back the other, but you're just but
part of me is this was not a way for you to represent yourself, but also this not image or this ideal, I guess. Because you are, when you're that type of pop star that you're just spiking your hair into 4 cones for your concert, you have an influence, that you don't even know exists.
Exactly.
And I just felt like the way that our little girl JoJo did it was very toddlers and tiaras of her.
It's giving Honey Boo Boo, like you said. So I'm rooting for JoJo. I hope that she finds herself to a better situation.
I'm rooting for her girlfriend more. And you were too good for her. You were adorable. Get out there.
Justice for JoJo Siwa's girlfriend.
We're not going to learn her name, but we love her.
I think I love her.
Good night.
Good night.